divide a string into parts that are divisions, geometric divisions of the string, right in half of the string like you notice on a guitar, we're going to get the harmonic, which is where the octave is. And actually, this requinto has been made so that each of these frets is lined up to different partials of the harmonic series, from the harmonics 17 to 32. So why those numbers? So each octave is going to be a multiple of 2. So the first octave we can think of as a ratio of 2 to 1. It's double the initial frequency. And I have these 2 notes tuned to that, so we have 3 octaves here. So the third harmonic is the octave plus the major fifth plus the perfect fifth. So that's actually exactly 1/3 of the string length. The fourth harmonic again gives us again the octave, actually 2 octaves. The fifth harmonic, which is actually 1/5 of the string length from the nut to the bolt, is a ratio of 5 to 4. The fifth harmonic is actually a ratio of 5 to 1, 5 times the initial frequency. But if we reduce it within the realm of an octave so that we can play it like a scale, we get this just major third, which has a higher degree of consonance than the equal tempered third. So we get So actually there becomes problems if we want to tune a bunch of different keys to the same harmonic series. But for the purpose of this class, we're just going to talk about the harmonic series based on one key. So we have the fifth harmonic. What other harmonics are we going to have here? So what comes next? 6. 6 is going to be 2 times 3. So again, we're going to have the fifth harmonic up an octave. And then we're going to have the seventh harmonic. So how do I know where it is in this case? Because I have 32 frets per octave. I'm in the harmonic series of 16 to 32. So we have 17, 18, 19, 20. This 20 is going to be 20 over 16, which we can reduce to 5 over 4. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. So where is 7 going to fit onto that? So which ones are the multiples of 7 that we have here? We have 21, 22, no, 3, 24, no, and 24 is actually going to be a multiple of 6 and 4, so that's going to give us our perfect fifth. 24, 25, 25 in fact is 2 times the fifth harmonic. 26, 27, and then this 28 is going to give us the seventh harmonic, because if we divide 28 by 4, we get 7, and if we divide 60 by 4, we get 4. So in this sequence of the harmonic series, we actually get 16 notes, so the first few notes actually sound quite a bit like a familiar major scale. Minor scale, or even a mode with a flat 2. But when does it start to change? These notes aren't quite as in tune, they're not quite the same tune as the ones in 12, because we get this 5/4, which is about 14 cents flat from 12. We get the minor third, which is actually the 19th harmonic, which is about 4 cents flat from 12, and actually there's a more harmonic minor third somewhere around there, which is the ratio of 6 to 5, which is a different part of the harmonic series, which is the difference between 2 different tones. In between the 5 and the 3, this would actually be the harmonic minor third, but we find it as the difference between 2 tones in the harmonic series. So the minor third that actually appears in the harmonic series is represented by the ratio of 19. So what else do we get here? After we pass the fourth, which in the harmonic series is not actually a perfect fourth, but a slightly diminished fourth, or sorry, a slightly big fourth, a slightly augmented fourth, we get two tritones. So the perfect fourth, actually, like the minor third, is a difference tone. It's the distance between the perfect fifth and the octave. It appears as a difference between two tones, the inverse of the perfect fifth. So in the harmonic series, we actually get the augmented fourth, the 21st harmonic, as the one that has the relationship with the root. So then we have the 22nd, which is also the 11th harmonic. So this is the first tritone that appears in the harmonic series. We actually get this in one level lower if we go between 8 and 16, a smaller segment of the harmonic series. And then we get the 23rd harmonic, the larger tritone. Then we get the 25th, which is like a super minor sixth, a sub minor sixth, which is actually 2 times this perfect major third. Then one more. Alright, there's a bee, or a wasp. One more and we get the 13th harmonic. So this is actually a really interesting note because it's somewhere between the major and the minor sixth. So this is the first time that we get kind of a neutral taste interval in the harmonic series. And it actually happens in the sixth before the thirds. So this becomes a new kind of identity once we get to the 13th harmonic. Like the 7th harmonic gives us the identity of the 7 in relation to the root. The 11 gives us the identity of the tritone in relation to the root. And actually in the difference tones with the 11th harmonic, we do get a neutral third in there, but not derived from the root of the harmonic series. So the first neutral tone in the harmonic series is actually this 13th harmonic. We got the 14th, which is actually the 7. Oh, sorry, I'm missing one. We had the 24th, which is the 5th, the 25th, which is the flat minor 6th, the 26th, which is the 13, and then we have the 27. And this is actually one that is a Pythagorean interval because this actually comes from a cycle of 3 perfect fifths. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So this is actually the Pythagorean major sixth, which is going to be the one that we get in the harmonic series because the actual just tuned 5-limit major sixth is again a combination of the inverse tones. It is the minor third, which we saw is derived from actually the major third, but then going down. So the major sixth can also be thought of as a perfect major third up from the fourth. But in the harmonic series, we actually get the Pythagorean sixth as what has the closest connection to the root in the harmonic series spectrum. So that's 27 to 16. Then we get 28, which we saw before was the 7-4 interval when we reduce it, the 7th harmonic. Then we get 29. So we're starting to get into this realm of like 29 being another prime number. We get a new prime harmonic, and this is kind of getting into the realm of a neutralish, minorish 7th. Then we get 30. 30 over 16 is going to be our major 7th, because if we divide it, we're going to get 15 over 8, which is the major third up from the 5th. So this is a major 7th. Then we get 31, which is a super major 7th. So we still don't actually really get a minor 7th fourth identity in the harmonic series. Those are mostly difference tones between other tones. We get the harmonic 7th, which is a bit low for a minor 7th. It has a bit more of a resonant identity with the with the root. Then we have the 29th, which is a bit more dissonant, also almost a bit more neutral in sound than the other minor sevenths. And then we're right up at the major seventh and the super major seventh. And we can divide this even further. We could do the series from 32 to 64. This is almost like the version where the semitone in the first half starts to become quarter tones in the second half. So if we do the series between 32 and 64, the next power of 2 in the harmonic series, then we will get the version where the quarter tones start to become something even smaller. They start to range into third tones or fifth tones or sixth tones in different parts of the series. Increase, like every step is going to be a bit smaller than the last one in the harmonic series. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, leave some comments in the comments box.